'Tis the season to be doing lots of shopping. Am I right? I'm going to kind of piggyback on the theme of the month of December of gift giving and shopping, mainly shopping. We're going to put the gift giving bit aside for a sec, although I do have something that I want to share with you in today's episode that should make your holiday gift giving just a smidgen easier, at least for the green thumbs in your life. So I will be sharing just a little tidbit later on. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about shopping, but not the stressful kind of shopping. We're going to be talking about shopping for your growing space. So I am going to walk you through and introduce to you all of my favorite retailers and sources for buying product. If you don't know this already, I am based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Most of the locations that I'm going to be talking about today are located in the greater Charlotte area. If you are not located in or around Charlotte, then hopefully some of these guiding principles or explanations, elaborations as to why I love these local retailers will help guide you in finding your own local retailer in your community. So I've got a handful of local places I love to shop. We're not going to talk about seeds because I talked about those last week. If you missed that episode, give it a listen. I talked about all of my favorite seed companies, which I just love seeds. Anyway, give it a listen if you also love seeds or if you want to learn more about seeds. But like I said, I have just a handful of local retailers that I want to share with you today. Hopefully, maybe this will get you into the holiday spirit or maybe just be a little distraction from it. Whatever floats your boat, let's get started. Welcome to the Growing Space Podcast. I'm your host, Farmer Erin, owner of The Patio Farmer, and I believe that no matter what size space you have, you can grow food at home. Tune in each week as I share my best tips, tricks, and encouragement for tending to homegrown edible plants. I am here to support your food growing journey. The very tippity top of my list of favorite retailers is 100% Windcrest Farms. Now, if you do not know who Mary Roberts is, where Windcrest Farms is, or anything about this beautiful, magnificent, certified organic farm in Monroe, North Carolina, so just a short drive from Charlotte, even shorter from the Waxhaw, South Charlotte area, then 100% you need to listen closely because Mary and her farm are hands down my favorite place to buy plants from. It was definitely pre-pandemic times when we first started working together. And she grows tons of stuff out on her farm. But her passion is starting little baby plants, little baby seedlings, either from seed or by propagating. And her product is superb. She is one of the only certified organic farms that produces plants in the Charlotte area. I dare you to try to find another one because you simply will not. I try as much as possible to source every single plant for all of my clients and all of my projects directly from Windcrest Organics because most of my clients and customers really want that organic product. So that is number one, Windcrest Organics. Literally have no idea what I would do without Mary and her team. Like I said, they grow almost all of my plant babies. Mary has been farming in the Charlotte area for over 15 years. She used to be a vendor at the Matthews Community Farmers Market, which is this year, it was voted the best farmers market in the state of North Carolina. She's no longer a vendor there, but you can shop directly on her website. I will put that in the show notes, of course. And yeah, you should definitely check out all of the amazing things happening at Windcrest Organics. Top of my list for favorite retailers in the Charlotte area. Oh, and I have to say this too about Windcrest. Mary also, because she's just this cool, she has her own certified organic plant food. Yeah. So it's called Compost Complete, and she has all kinds of different blends and compositions of Compost Complete. But everything in this plant food is, like I said, is certified organic, and Mary only uses plant-based products to mix her plant food. So if you are vegetarian or vegan and you're sensitive to using animal products, this is a fantastic plant food for you to consider. Or if you're like me, I have 3 dogs. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet on this podcast, but I have 3 dogs. And, you know, there's a lot of ingredients in like traditional plant food that are really appealing to dogs, like bone meal, blood meal, feather meal, fish meal, crab, shell meal. Needless to say, plant food can be really attractive to puppy dogs, and it is not super attractive or fun for anybody to have to clean up the mess of canine ingested plant food. But good news, if you shop from Mary, you won't have to worry about that because, like I said, all of her stuff is plant-based, and I have 3 dogs, and none of my dogs bother my soil or my plants after I feed them with Compost Complete. And there's a Compost Complete garden blend, which is like her all-purpose. She's got one for tomatoes. She has one for blueberries. She has one for ginger and turmeric. Mary is like semi-famous in the Charlotte area. Actually, I will just go ahead and say she's like full-blown famous in the Charlotte area and beyond for growing an impressive crop of certified organic ginger and turmeric every year. Yeah. So anyway, Mary, love you. You're great. Oh, I'm going to have Mary on the podcast sometime very soon, probably in the new year. I was actually just texting her this week about that. So hang tight for that episode, an interview with Mary Roberts. It'll be coming probably in like, first quarter of next year. And you'll learn even more about her farm and growing organically and all of the other good things that she wants to share with us. So stay tuned for that. My second favorite retailer in the Charlotte area, there is this beautiful hardware store that I would say is a hidden gem of Charlotte. And it's not really that hidden. It's on a main street in Matthews. Yes, friends, I am talking about Renfro Hardware. And if you have not been to Renfro Hardware, you should absolutely go, like as soon as you possibly can, because you step into the hardware store and you can just take a deep breath. It's just such a happy place to be in. Renfro Hardware is a traditional hardware store. They do all sorts of great services. They'll sharpen your tools. You can get new keys cut, and they've got a massive inventory of great products. But they're also a garden center. So they have tons of seeds and soil amendments and pest control and trellising materials. In the past, they have sold chicks. Yep, just like little baby chicks in the spring. It's super sweet. They didn't do that last year, and I'm not sure if they'll be doing it in 2024, but you bet your buttons that I'm putting their contact information in the show notes, so you can be sure to follow along. And if they do have chicks and you're in the market for some backyard chickens, then you can scoot your boot over to Renfro Hardware in the spring to get your chicks. Renfro Hardware also has a greenhouse out around back. They also have some resident chickens. Big Boy is their rooster, and there's a couple of hens as well, so you get to say hi to them. But they have a whole greenhouse that they stock with plants. Usually their greenhouse is stocked seasonally, so in the wintertime, you probably wouldn't find a whole lot of stuff in there. But from like early spring through late fall, it's just full of really great locally sourced plants. Renfro is just a well-respected institution in the food and farming world here in Charlotte. They're a family-run business. So David Blackley is the owner, and his daughter Presley writes a fantastic weekly newsletter. You should definitely subscribe to the Renfro newsletter. I read it every week, and I would also love to have David and Presley on the podcast as well. This next retailer is a specialty retailer, and they specialize in hydroponic supplies and indoor growing. So if you're looking for like a fancy indoor setup with grow lights and a tent and a full-blown hydroponic system and setup and nutrients and all of that, you can go to American Beauty Garden Center. They're located on Independence Boulevard in East Charlotte. It's kind of funny because they're a hydroponic supply store, but I go to American Beauty mainly for one product, and that is soil. So let me back up too. In case you don't know about hydroponics, hydroponics is growing food without using soil. You actually use water and liquid nutrients to make this nutrient solution, which then feeds your plants, and you're able to grow really nutritious things without using any soil. It's just kind of comical that I would go to a hydroponic store to buy soil. They are one of the only retailers in the Charlotte area that source my all-time favorite potting soil. And it's called Happy Frog Potting Soil. It's made by a company out in Humboldt, California called Fox Farm. A fantastic soil products and soil amendments and plant foods. Like everything that they do is just super high quality. And I am slightly obsessed with their soils. So Happy Frog Potting Soil is my favorite soil from them. It's kind of like their general potting mix. If you're growing in containers and in small spaces, it is 100% worth the investment. I say an investment. So a 2 cubic foot bag of Happy Frog potting soil is $22. Yeah. And I know it's a little bit of sticker shock, but soil is something that you should not have to replace. You should be able to reuse your soil from season to season and over and over and over again. And Happy Frog is simply the best. So if you want to start off with your best foot forward, 100% go to American Beauty Garden Center. Alan is the owner of American Beauty and is super helpful. His whole staff is super helpful and can answer any questions that you might have. Maybe I'll have someone from the American Beauty Garden team come on the podcast as well, since we're talking about guest lineups. And we can do a whole episode on hydroponics. I think that would be fun. Okay, we are going to take a quick little break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and then we're going to pick back up with all of my favorite retailers, places I like to go, places I like to shop to get products for my growing space. So hang on, we'll be right back. This podcast is sponsored by Plant Club by the Patio Farmer. Plant Club by the Patio Farmer is a monthly subscription service I started in 2020. It's a membership-based opportunity to take your growing journey to the next level. With 4 different membership options, you get to decide the amount and kind of support that's right for you. All Plant Club members receive access to my online community through a platform called Circle. Having access to this platform allows members to share pictures, ask questions, celebrate harvests, and get to know each other. All Plant Club members also have access to free seeds each month, along with information on how to plant and tend to their crops, with seeding instructions and downloadable resources from the Patio Farmers Resource Library. Membership starts at just $14 a month. Check out the 2024 Plant Club lineup on my website, thepatiofarmer.com/membership. That's also where you can sign up. Now, back to the show. So the next one on the list is Dearness Gardens. It's right down the road from me. They're in Huntersville. They just have a huge selection of plants as well. And usually when I go in there, I have a pretty strict list that I have to stick to. Sometimes I'll wander into their greenhouse and see if they have any edible tropical plants that I need to my shopping or to my home collection. They have a gift shop with a whole bunch of house plants. They also do a ton of native and pollinator plants. And then they have all of your traditional colorful annuals and shrubs and trees and all of that good stuff. So if you are, again, if you're close to Huntersville or you're willing to make a drive, definitely check out Dearness Gardens. They're fantastic. They also sell soil amendments and plant food and other growing supplies too. So they're a really great resource and a really great location, and I love supporting them. Another great retailer is Blackhawk Hardware. So another kind of classic Charlotte institution. And they are located, of course, in Park Road Shopping Center. So right off of Montford Drive, close to Woodlawn Road and Park Road, kind of close to South Park area. And they do a seasonal selection of veggies and herb starts. That's when you shop for soil. Definitely go for Daddy Pete's potting mix or raised bed. raised bed mix. Black Hawk Hardware sources all of Daddy Pete's products. Or so in addition to plants, and they've got tons of different kinds of plants, but the hardware store itself is huge. Huge. And honestly, it's a pretty great place to buy Christmas presents if you're looking for a little tip. But Black Hawk Hardware is a great source for plants and supplies and all of the things. So give them a visit if you haven't been there already. So another great garden center is Brawley's Garden Center in Mooresville. So again, if you're kind of on the north side or you live up at the lake, Davidson area, definitely check out Brawley's. You probably already have if you live up there. They've got tons of products, great selection of edible plants and herbs and potting soil. They also sell Happy Frog potting soil. Oh my gosh. So not in Charlotte, they're in Mooresville, but they sell it. They got it. Yep, Happy Frog. So another one of my favorite places to shop is Roundtree Plantation. Now, they recently moved. They used to be right off of Old Pineville Road, like kind of close to South End, and they're now maybe close to like Mint Hill. I mean, they have a much larger space. I'm really happy for them. I actually haven't made it out there yet. I feel kind of bad saying that on my podcast, but I haven't made it out to their new location yet. And great seasonal selection of edible plants, edible herbs, veggies. So last year when I was shopping with them, I noticed that they had a lot of like ornamental edibles, which was fun, like a lot of edible flowers. They had rosemary, they had cardoon and artichoke, and like all of the really pretty brassicas, like the frilly kale. So that was really fun just to see those and like have that as an option for clients. I'm doing a little edible landscaping, if you will. Another local small business that I shop from all the time is Shepherd's Landscape Supply. Is super close to me. They're mainly like a landscape supply retailer. And I do have a business account with them, but they also sell directly to homeowners and individuals. Like if I'm not using Happy Frog potting soil, I'm using Daddy Pete's potting soil, that great local soil company I was telling you about when I was talking about Black Hawk Hardware. And Shepherd's is my source for Daddy Pete. They have tons of it, always in stock, and they have super friendly staff that are helpful. But they also have like great ornamental like shrubs and not a whole lot of edibles. So I mainly go there for soil, but they're great. You should check them out if you're doing any landscaping. Check them out. Two more brick and mortar locations before I talk about my favorite online sources for shopping are Tractor Supply. So Tractor Supply is great. I mainly go there to shop for like things for my chickens, to be honest. But I do get some containers there. Tractor Supply can be really helpful when it comes to containers, especially if you like metal containers or like the galvanized look. And the last local retailer that I'll just mention here is Pikes. I love going to Pikes. Like if you're in a pinch and you need some seeds, they have a great seed selection right in the store. They're a little pricey on their veggies and herbs and edibles, but super convenient locations and hours. And you can also, like, I've called before and asked if like other locations had certain products, and they can actually like see what stores have what products. It's really helpful. So Pikes is a great retailer in the Charlotte area, and it's a regional company. I think they're based out of Georgia near Atlanta. Plus, you can get tons of soil amendments and tools and hoses and plant tags and gardening clogs and gloves. They also sell ladybugs and earthworms and praying mantises. 3 online sources for you to consider for shopping for products. The first 2 are both raised bed companies. There's tons of plans online for how to build a raised bed out of wood or whatever material you're looking to build one out of. But you can also buy raised bed kits online. If you've been following along with me, maybe for a year or 2, and you've heard me talk about raised beds, then you'll know that I love using metal and concrete. All of my raised beds at home are built out of concrete blocks, and I am obsessed. I love them so much. But if they weren't built out of concrete blocks, they would definitely be built out of metal. And there are two companies that just have great metal raised beds. So the first company to call out for their metal raised beds, they have a really creative name. Their company is called metalgardenbeds.com. No joke. It's in the show notes. Check it out. Check it out. So they have different setups, different plans for building your own metal garden beds at home. They all kind of come in a standard height, but you can play around with the layout and the shape and even the color of your metal raised bed. And they're really easy to put together. I use these all the time for clients. I even use these to build out a whole community garden for one of my business clients this year. And it just makes raised bed assembly super easy. I also love the Vigo garden beds. And like I said, I'll put a link in the show notes to those. But those are two really fantastic metal raised bed companies that I source from and recommend all the time to clients and for clients. The third online retailer that I'm going to highlight in today's episode is Gardener Supply Company. If you haven't checked out this website before, I would definitely recommend after this podcast episode, just giving it a gander. They have tons and tons of products. They have raised beds of all different kinds of materials, and they have tons of supplies. They even have like fencing and trellising and gloves and hand tools, tons of things that can just make your life easier in your growing space. They just have really great selection and high quality products online. So, and again, I will put all of that information in the show notes for y'all. So yeah, those are all of my favorite retailers. I just wanted to give you all that preview before the holidays or like as part of the holiday season, the shopping season. You know, no matter how you feel about the shopping season, I thought that this would be good information to just have in your back pocket. Maybe save this episode for the spring as well and come back and give it a listen when you're ready to like start sourcing stuff for your growing space in the new year. Oh my gosh, can you guys believe we're like weeks away from 2024? It's unreal. And then I did want to just make a quick little announcement for my little business. This has been a long time coming, I would say, and I'm really excited that the moment is here. Also, I'm doing a trial this month of an online store. Oh my gosh, I know. So I officially have an online store where you can buy stuff directly from me. Right now, I'm keeping it pretty small, pretty simple for the holidays. I've got a series of gift sets up there. So if you're looking for some holiday gifts for the aspiring green thumb in your life, please take a look at my online store. I'll put the link in the show notes. Last week, I went on TV. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So WBTV had me on one of their afternoon programs, and I took my gift sets there and announced that, you know, you can now order them on my website on TV, which was very exciting. And I'll put a link to that segment in the show notes for you as well, if you want to take a look at it. Always super grateful for those opportunities. But yeah, I have an online store now, you guys. And the gift sets are on there. I'm also doing a solstice sale around every solstice, which we have two solstices, right? We have the summer solstice and we have the winter solstice. But usually around each one of the solstices, I like to do a sale. And there's usually a solstice seed sale, which of course I am doing this year. So you can get 10 packets of seed from my 2023 seed collection for just $15. So it's like crazy good pricing. Normally I charge $4 a packet and you get 10 for $15. So whatever that math is, it's a really great deal. And I'm also doing a solstice grab bag sale. So you pay $20 for $25 worth of products. And it's like a little surprise. I get to select the products for you. You pay the $20 and I give you lots of fun goodies, again, from my 2023 stash. And I also have a super sale that I'm running on all of my t-shirts and hoodies this month. Be sure to check out my new fancy online store. I'm accepting orders until Friday the 15th. So you have this week, and anything that you order on my online store is available for delivery if you live in the greater Charlotte area. And I list out all of those delivery areas in the online store when you click on a product. So be sure to check those out if you're interested, if you want to shop for the green thumb in your life, or maybe that's just you. Like, you can totally shop for yourself, treat yourself. You got it. And I will say that 2 of those gift sets are offered in partnership with Windcrest Organics. It's the Mint to Be gift set and the Lavender Love gift set. Feature certified organic plants from Windcrest Organics and some of Mary's plant food. And Mary also made these cute little custom copper plant tags, and they say Mint to Be and Lavender Love, and they're precious, and I love them. But they all come with the kit. And let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you think of the online store. Super curious to see how it goes this month, and super curious to see if it carries over into 2024. So we'll see. Okay, so one more thing before we close out. I've made a blog post that captures some of the information from today's episode and last week's episode, all about my favorite seed companies, for my website. And I'm going to put a link to those 2 blog posts in the show notes as well, just in case if you want to come back and reference it later, or you're looking for other information about growing food. I do put evergreen content up on my blog on my website. So look for the links to both of those blog posts just to kind of consolidate and summarize the information from this week's episode and last week's episode. Now, if you have tuned into this podcast before, then you know that at the end of every episode, I share a fun little tidbit or pro tip as we close out. And today, given that this episode is all about retailers and shopping, I could not talk about Lowe's. So in closing out, I am going to share with you my favorite thing to buy from Lowe's for my growing space. And I say it's my favorite thing. It's probably one of the only things, if I'm being honest. But my number one thing that I will buy with a smile on my face from Lowe's is mushroom compost. Yeah, it's great. It is. It's a great soil amendment. It's full of nitrogen. The plants love it. And I will gladly purchase that from Lowe's anytime. In next week's episode, we are going to talk about seasonal reflections. We're going to walk through all of the learnings and all of the things that you wanted to capture from your growing practice this year and how to take them with you into the new year and the new seasons of growing that await for us in 2024. So next week will be a lot of fun. It'll probably be a shorter episode, but still full of great information and resources for you. Yeah, hang in there with those final days of shopping and preparing for the holidays. And just remember to take a few moments to just breathe and be truly in the moment. Maybe take some time to be with your plants, take in their energy. Maybe if it's not too cold one day, you can stand barefoot in the soil. Just find ways to stay grounded this holiday season. And we will see you next week for seasonal reflections and getting ready for the new year.